Today's show, I'm so excited, super excited for this guest. I waited so long, but you're gonna have to stay tuned to see who that is. And she's gonna be making for us today chicken 3 ways. I'm super excited and I can't wait for you to see us. Today's guest, I'm so excited to present me. Today it's just me. Hi, I'm Marisa Vega, and I'm volunteer program lead with Matthew's House Hospice. I've been with Matthew's House now for 2.5 years, and let me tell you, it's magical. My function is to recruit and to train and to engage our volunteers. They come in every day with a smile on their face, eager to help. What can I do? Where can I fit in? Where do you need me the most? And they'll do anything. They're fantastic, from courtesy desk to kitchen volunteer, residential, in-home. They're just support groups. They're just amazing. And it just brings me so much joy. So they teach me on a daily basis so much about giving back to the community and just about generosity. And they're selfless people, and I absolutely adore every single one of them. I love my job. It's amazing. And I'm grateful every day to get to be able to work with such a fantastic group of people and for an amazing cause. Today I'm going to be showing you chicken 3 ways. Now, a friend of mine one day made this soup and I absolutely loved it. So it's really from the chicken soup base, so your chicken noodle soup, any one that you like, your favorite kind, and then a little bit of garlic and some celery, some carrots, and some onions. And you just and obviously some fresh chicken. And it was so good. So what I'm gonna do, I've already got some water here boiling for the soup. What I'm using today is a chicken thigh. And I like a chicken thigh. You can absolutely use a chicken breast. You can use a chicken leg. But I'm using a chicken thigh just because I like the flavor better. It's juicier. So that's my preference, but it's all up to you. You can use whatever you like. Now I have a few pieces here. I'm not going to use all of them. So I'm just cutting it into strips, which are then going to go into dice, little dice pieces like this. And I think for this recipe, I'm just going to use about two chicken thighs here. And you know, at Matthew's House, there's always soup. Every day we serve soup and we serve a side. And the soups are so delicious. There'll be anything from, you know, a vegetable soup to a potato and leek soup. And they're absolutely delicious. Again, the kitchen at Matthew's House, the volunteers help out and it's fantastic. Gurpreet is our food services coordinator, and the volunteers make the delicious baked goods and soups and sandwiches, the sides. Okay, so this is my second thigh here, and I'm just going to dice it all up like this. Now you can absolutely go ahead and roast the chicken before you put it in. You can fry it up before you put it in. You know, it's up to you. You can broil it before you put it in, but I'm just going to put it right into the water. And of course, this chicken has all been pre-washed, okay? And all the little bits that you might not like removed. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put this chicken right into the boiling water here that's been boiling away. And we're going to probably get this to boil, I'm going to say about a good, you know, cut in this small pieces like this. I think if you boil it about 10 minutes, that would be great before you add all the other stuff. And of course, then it's just going to simmer for you. So I'm just going to go ahead, folks, and I'm just going to put this right into the pot like that. I'm going to turn up our heat a little bit because, of course, as you add your ingredients to the water, it reduces the temperature. So we want to bring that back up. Okay, we just give this a stir. And we just want to bring this back up nicely. There we go. And we're just gonna let this boil away, all the while keeping our eye on it so that it doesn't overboil. So our chicken is boiling away nicely over here, and it's small enough that it's 10 minutes is just fine. I'm gonna go ahead now. I've changed my cutting board, I've washed my hands, I've washed my knife, and I'm gonna go ahead now and start chopping up the vegetables. So for vegetables, for chicken noodle soup, absolutely, you can go ahead, so this is all pre-washed, you can go ahead and put in anything you like. The staples or the standards are celery and carrots. And onions. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this right now. I've got red onion here, but you can absolutely use sweet onion, green onion, anything you like. So we're just gonna chop everything to kind of resemble the bits of the chicken so that everything is kind of the same size when we're eating it. Okay? And this also is a great soup. If you make it in bulk, it freezes wonderfully. Okay, and typically soups can last in your freezer, I would say about 3 months. Not a problem. In an airtight sealed container. And I'm just gonna use, you know what, it's all up to you how much you'd like to use. But if you like a nice hearty soup, chunky soup, absolutely go ahead and it's all up to you how many stalks you're using. I'm using about 1 stalk here. They were just cut in half. So that's 1 stalk, 1 celery stalk. And I heard a very interesting bit of information today that if you leave wilted celery out to dry, to dry completely, you can grind it up and then you have your celery salt. Isn't that an interesting fact? I just learned that today. I'm excited about that. Also with celery or carrots, if they have gone a little bit wilty in your fridge, you can absolutely leave them in a bowl with cold water and they'll firm right back up. So that's not a problem right there. All right, so this is about as much celery as we're gonna use. I would say, I'm not good with measurements, but I'm gonna say it's about a half a cup. But 1 celery stalk, we'll go that way. And you can absolutely use as much or as little as you like. I've got a carrot here and I'm gonna use a half of a carrot just for this purpose. And I'm gonna tell you why when I do the second part of my chicken done 3 ways today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and peel this. Okay, with this carrot peeler here. And then you can do it in rounds. You can absolutely, this is already pre-washed, this carrot. You can do it in rounds, folks. You can do it in strips. You can do it diced. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of both those ways, okay? So now there we go, cut that off a little bit. And you can absolutely just do it in rounds. Just like that. Slice it up in rounds. If you wanted to, I'll show you, you can dice it. So you just cut that piece in half like that. You cut it in half again, and then dice. That's it, okay? That's dicing your carrots. You just cut it in half, and there you go. But I think this carrot is small enough that we're just gonna go ahead and leave it in rounds. So round. Chicken noodle soup is one of those things that everybody goes to on a cold day or when they're not feeling well. It's just it's like a hug. It's like a hug in a bowl. All right, and we're gonna go ahead now. Our chicken has been boiling here for quite a while now, and we're just gonna put some of these veggies in there, and I'm just gonna transfer it like this right into our bowl. Okay, there we go right there. And then what I'm also gonna do, because it's so good for you, I'm just gonna take a little bit of garlic. This is a pre-chopped garlic, pre-minced, garlic that you can buy ready minced in a jar at any of your favorite grocery stores. We're gonna put a bit of garlic in there too, and I'll tell you why. Garlic is so good, and it's got such antiseptic and healing properties. It's so delicious. For sure, if you don't like garlic, please don't put the garlic in. You can omit that, okay? I'm gonna go ahead now and cut up a little bit of my onion here. And now I'm just gonna slice this right up. Go ahead and give it a little cut here, not all the way through. And this just helps you dice it. And you, like that. And like I said, you could put as much or as little as you like. Okay, we're gonna give this a little bit more of a rough chop, just like that. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and add this in as well. And again, you can absolutely use a green onion, a sweet onion, or you can leave the onions out altogether. And onions as well have very, very good healing properties. Okay, we're gonna give this a little stir. And now, friends, we're gonna let that boil for a little bit. You can let that simmer for as long as you like. Now, when you're using the chicken noodle soup, the dry one, if you find, you can also buy the 25% less salt. That's fantastic. If you can't find it, no problem. What I do sometimes is I will drop this into a hand colander and sift out a little bit of the bouillon that is in there. That's the salty part. And I'll just sift out just a little bit, and it takes out some of that salt, okay? But for these intents purposes, we're gonna go ahead and use the whole thing, all right? So I'm just gonna drop this in. And now, this can simmer as long as we have to. And you're probably thinking, aren't the noodles gonna get over tender? No, not these noodles. Typically when you add a noodle to a soup, you would do it at the very, very end. So the last 10 minutes or the last 5 minutes, depending on the cooking instructions on the pasta, okay? Otherwise, yes, they will get very, very, they will really, really absorb all the liquid, and you won't have any more liquid in your soup. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let that boil, and we're gonna get on to our next one.
Chicken soup. 2 chicken thighs diced, 1 stalk of celery diced, a half a carrot cut into rounds, a 1/4 cup red onion diced, a half a teaspoon of garlic, and chicken noodle soup base. Put the diced chicken in a pot of boiling water to cook for 10 minutes. Stir in the rest of the ingredients and bring back to a boil, and then simmer until done.
And now what I've got here is I've got some water boiling, because for the next recipe, I'm going to boil up 2 pieces of the chicken thigh. So this was a pack of 7 pieces. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 in the chicken noodle soup. I've left 3 for the stir fry that we're gonna do, and I've left 2 for the chicken salad that we're gonna do as well. So what I'm gonna do is because I have the water boiling for the chicken salad, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna also cube this salad, these thighs as well. Okay, so my chicken is all nice and diced up. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into our boiling water here. I'll bring the pot closer. It just makes more sense. I don't want everything splashing everywhere. And we're just gonna put it in some just water. I didn't season the water. I didn't put any salt, anything like that. It's just plain water, okay? And we'll put that back on the heat. And we'll let this chicken boil for our chicken salad. Now I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the rest of the chicken for the stir fry. Okay folks, and for the stir fry, I've actually made the chicken into strips. Okay, so you can see that I've actually made them into strips, but you can absolutely go ahead, maybe I'll put on this side, you can absolutely go ahead and dice this as well, make it thinner, make it thicker, whatever you like, okay? So now I'm just, oh, I have one more piece. I almost forgot. We can't forget this guy. We need all of our pieces in here. So we're gonna go ahead and just slice him up into little strips. There we go. And we're done. And that was 3 chicken thighs, okay? And I'm just gonna put into the fry pan a bit of oil. Now you can use any kind of oil you want. I know there's controversy on, you know, should you fry with olive oil? Should you not fry with olive oil? Just remember that olive oil has a high smoking point. I'm using olive oil here. And olive oil has a high smoking point, so you need to make sure that you're good and close to your pan when you're doing this, okay? There we go. We're just gonna get the pan up here. We're just putting it at about a medium to low here, and we're just gonna wait. I'm gonna turn down my soup a little bit. There we go. And we're just gonna wait till this heats up a little bit, the oil, because you don't wanna put oil in. I'm just checking all my pots here. I don't want anything to boil over. You don't want to put your meat or your protein into a oil that's not hot enough. What ends up happening is the protein will absorb all the oil and you'll get an extremely greasy dish, and you don't want that. So you just want to wait till your oil is good and hot. Ooh, I feel it, it's really hot right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the chicken in to start frying up. I don't know if you can hear that little bit of sizzle there. That's always a good sound. Things are happening, good things are happening, delicious things are happening. I'm just gonna grab myself a spoon here just to kind of turn or toss this around a little bit. We're gonna get this cooking. And then we're gonna get right into chopping up our veggies, okay? We're gonna let this cook a little bit. You don't need to put a lid on it because you cook it on low, folks. The secret is low and slow. I'm gonna grab my veggie cutting board again here, and I'm just gonna check on my chicken. And it looks wonderful so far. Now, I have a nephew who's a chef in Toronto, and he always says to me, Zia, remember, Zia is aunt in Italian, and he always says to me, Zia, it's very important to season in layers. And what that means is, even though we're going to be adding vegetables to this dish, we can season it now. Now, it is a stir fry, but you know what? Stir fries, you can season any way you like, okay? So I've got a bit of onion powder here. I'm gonna put some in. I got a bit of salt, whoops. Okay, a bit of pepper. You can absolutely omit the salt and the pepper. Okay, I've got a bit of parsley, and that's it. You can put whatever it is that you like. Okay, absolutely. You could make this a little bit. You know, you could put ginger, and you could put garlic, and you could put cumin, and you can do all sorts of things. Okay, if you put it with cumin, you could give it a little bit of a Mexican flair. If you put it with a little bit of ginger and turmeric and things like that, you can also make it, you know, a little bit of soy sauce. You can also make it a little bit of an Asian flair. So it's all up to you and your preference. Okay, so we're just gonna let that cook here on very, very low. Okay, and now we're gonna get to the vegetables. So now, because this is a stir fry, you don't have to dice your veggies that small, okay? So you can actually, the nice thing about this, you can leave them just like that. So it's basically a rough chop, a rough slice, okay? Rough slice, rough chop. We'll call this a slice. Now also with the stir fries, you can absolutely put, they're so versatile. You can put anything you want. You can put cauliflower, you can put broccoli, you can put anything you want, folks. You can put peppers, absolutely put peppers. You can put kale, whatever it is that you like, okay? I'm gonna save, maybe I'll save one for the chicken salad, just to give the chicken salad a bit of crunch. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna add all this celery to our stir fry, okay? We're gonna give this a little toss again. Now, for myself personally, I know it doesn't call for it, but I like it. I throw in a little bit of white wine. That's just because who I am. Now, I don't want to put the garlic in yet because it'll burn. So the garlic we put at the last, okay? At the last, we put in last. How about that? It's also an English lesson today, grammar, English. Okay, I'm gonna cut up some carrot here. And these carrots, I'm gonna julienne. And I'm gonna show you how to do that in just a minute here. Again, you can put any kind of vegetables you like in a stir fry, anything that you have at home. You know when stir fries are nice? On a Friday night, when you have to use up the vegetables from the week that you didn't get a chance to use, but that's a good time to use them, okay? I'm gonna cut this. We're gonna cut both ends. We are going to cut this. Now I'm gonna cut it a little smaller just because this knife is a little, okay? So I just cut it in half like that. And I'm just going to cut it into these little strips. Just strips like that, okay? And you can go ahead and cut it again. And that, my friends, is your julienne carrot. That's simple. Okay, I'm gonna do this one as well. Just 1, 2, 3. Cut it again. And there's julienne carrot. I'm gonna start adding these just so I have room on my cutting board, okay? Like that. And do my last one here. You can absolutely omit the onion if you don't like onions. Not everybody likes onions. I know people who like them raw versus cooked. So absolutely you can omit those. And just cut it like that. And there you go, our julienne carrot is now done. You can also buy them already julienne, but you know what, sometimes you put a little music on, you put the TV in the background, and you know what, cooking is fun and it's cathartic. The one thing I love about cooking is that you can be experimental. So you can take out a little bit of this, you can add a little bit of that. Baking is a science, I know I've said that before, I'm repeating, but cooking is definitely an art, and you can change it, alter it any way you like, okay? So I'm just gonna give this all a good stir. It smells so good in here. And we're just gonna let this saute away. And that's sauteing, okay? This technique here is called sauteing. I'm gonna saute all these vegetables with the chicken. Okay? There we go, that's looking really, really good. And now for the cooking time for a stir fry really depends on how you like your vegetables. So if you like your vegetables pretty crunchy, then I would say maybe a 5-minute cooking time. If you like them a little bit more well done, it's just easier to eat, then you can definitely leave it in for about 10 to 12 minutes, okay? We're gonna put in a bit of green onion to our stir fry. And the green onions, we're just gonna do that to them, okay? Rough chop. It just looks nicer in a stir fry if you do a rough chop. So we just do a rough chop on an angle, like that. That's it. And we throw this in to our pot. Ooh, that one kinda, oh, I got it. I thought I didn't. Thought he jumped out. I got him. I saved him. All right, and we just, so we're just gonna cook this until the vegetables are done to your liking.
Chicken stir fry. 3 chicken thighs cut into strips. 4 stalks of celery chopped. 1 carrot julienned. A handful of green onions chopped. 2 tablespoons olive oil, and seasonings of your choice. Heat the olive oil in a skillet. Add the chicken strips and cook thoroughly. Stir in the seasonings and continue to cook on low heat for 5 minutes. Add the vegetables and cook for 5 to 12 minutes longer.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our chicken salad together, all right? So we're just going to, I'm gonna bring it over closer. And see, there's water, lots of water in there. You can absolutely go ahead and save that water for another chicken soup base, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just gonna strain it with a slotted spoon. Okay, I'm gonna put it right in my bowl because you know what? It's already pretty nicely cut up. Woo! There we go, because it's already nicely chopped up. And absolutely, if you want it a little smaller, I'll show you. We'll just take a knife and a fork and we'll go through and we'll rough chop it, okay? Now, for the purpose of this show, I just used 2 pieces, but you can go ahead and use a lot more pieces, okay? You can use 4 or 5, you can make up a big bowl, and then you can have it for a couple of days in your fridge. And I'm just kind of with my knife really rough, making the pieces a wee bit smaller. So while this is cooling off, because you don't want to put mayonnaise on some warm protein, just because it's not very nice and it'll melt on you and you don't want that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut up my vegetables for this. Again, as per my nephew, we're gonna season in layers, he says to me. Whoa, that's quite a bit. And then you just put some salt or pepper. You can omit the pepper if you don't like it. Put a few parsley flakes on there just for some nice color. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our mayonnaise. And then you can put a spoonful. Again, it's all up to you how much you like. And give this a little toss. And this itself will also sit in your fridge about 2-3 days. You can have this, which is nice. If you're trying to, if you're gluten-free, you can put this in roll it up in a piece of lettuce, and you can eat it that way. You can also, just eat it on its own with maybe some gluten-free crackers. And there you go.
Chicken salad. 2 chicken thighs diced, 2 stalks of celery diced, a 1/4 cup red onion diced, 2 tablespoons mayonnaise, salt, pepper, and parsley flakes. Place the diced chicken thighs in boiling water and cook thoroughly. Drain the water and put the chicken pieces into a bowl. Stir in the remaining ingredients and enjoy.
So we have our chicken salad, our chicken noodle soup, and we have our chicken stir fry. A package of 7 chicken thighs done 3 ways and all in a half an hour. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this show today. I enjoyed making this for you. I do hope you'll try some of these recipes, and I look forward to seeing you around at Matthew's house.